A family in crisis functions as an interconnected ecosystem. When that system strikes a rigid dam, individuals become trapped in the resulting chaotic rapids. The clinician acts as a systemic navigator. To remove these blockages, you must learn to read the specific terrain of a family's chronic anxiety and guide the system back into a functional, continuous flow. This topographical map details the evolution of systemic family therapy. It serves as our syllabus for tracing how modern intervention developed. We will travel across 3 historical waypoints: Murray Bowen's Ancestral Roots, the Palo Alto Cybernetics intersection, and the climactic split at Squaw Peak. Understanding the transitions between these theoretical waypoints allows a clinician to navigate the complex history of systemic intervention. Systemic therapy begins by recognizing that history leaks directly into present-day interactions. A family's current dysfunction is rarely spontaneous. This zoomed-in section of the map shows Waypoint 1, marking the bedrock theories established by Murray Bowen. This animated tree illustrates Bowen's multi-generational transmission. Unaddressed traumas and anxiety cascade down through generations, pooling to flood the current patient. Bowen called this fusion, a trap where an individual cannot distinguish their emotions from the family system, reacting blindly to shared stress. Fleeing the physical environment does not resolve this problem. Bowen termed this false escape, emotional cutoff. Moving 3,000 miles away without resolving the underlying anxiety only freezes the individual's development and leaves the systemic pressure intact. The primary clinical goal within this model is achieving differentiation of self. This is the practiced ability to separate one's own internal feelings from the overwhelming emotional flooding of the surrounding family system. By increasing self-differentiation, an individual creates a structural boundary. This stops the downward flood of inherited anxiety and allows both the individual and the broader family ecosystem to return to a state of flow. Bowen established the historical origins of family anxiety. As the field evolved, researchers shifted their focus away from why a problem started to exactly how it was maintained through daily interaction. This diagram maps out Waypoint 2, the Mental Research Institute in Palo Alto, California, where 2 highly distinct scientific disciplines merged. From the left, anthropologist Gregory Bateson introduced cybernetics to the study of human behavior. Bateson proposed that families function as self-regulating communication loops. These loops can become overloaded and paralyzed by double binds, contradictory rules making genuine affection impossible. From the right, psychiatrist Milton H. Erickson introduced experimental clinical hypnotherapy. Erickson relied on the utilization principle. Instead of fighting resistance, he used whatever language or belief the client brought in to bypass their defenses. J. Haley and Cloe Madanes synthesized Bateson's communication loops with Erickson's hypnotic tactics. The result was strategic family therapy. Strategic family therapy aimed to achieve immediate results by disrupting the interactional grid, bypassing the need for long-term historical analysis. Haley and Madanes effectively weaponized Erickson's hypnosis, extracting the underlying psychological mechanisms to use on waking families without inducing a formal trance. This staircase graphic illustrates Erickson's 6 Holons of trance. The process begins by constructing a resourceful identity, reframing anxiety as stage fright. Next, the therapist embraces systemic complexity, tracing how behavior affects family dynamics. Finally, they co-create a future where the problem is solved. By extracting the mechanics of these discrete stages, strategic therapists gained the ability to provoke immediate structural shifts in highly resistant families through structured conversation. In 1985, these theories were put to a physical test at an Erickson Foundation conference, set against the backdrop of Squaw Peak in Phoenix, Arizona. Erickson frequently utilized ordeal therapy. He constructed highly difficult tasks to ensure clients possessed the necessary inner motivation before he would agree to treat them. He famously forced couples to endure a grueling hike up Squaw Peak in the baking heat, using physical exhaustion to disrupt their rigid behavioral patterns. This illustration captures Dr. Brian Lippincott's historical account. He followed the founders of strategic therapy, J. Haley and Chloe Madanes, up this exact trail. During the climb, he listened as a fierce argument erupted over the core structure of the modern family. The physical ordeal of the mountain preceded the end of their marriage. They soon divorced, leaving behind two competing modern frameworks for treating family dysfunction. The argument at Squaw Peak centered on a single, irreconcilable difference regarding how power operates within a healthy family. This graphic compares the two opposing models of family structure that emerged from that debate. J. Haley insisted on a strict vertical hierarchy, believing parents absolutely had to be positioned at the top of a traditional pyramid to ensure system stability. Chloe Madanes vehemently disagreed. She conceptualized the modern family not as a rigid pyramid, but as a fluid fishnet of interwoven roles and notes. Madanes argued that enforcing a strict parental hierarchy often fails in families dealing with severe trauma, addiction, or violence. In many of these cases, a child stepping into a caretaking role is the healthiest functioning member of the system. Consequently, Madanes directed therapists to deconstruct rigid pyramids. Her approach requires the clinician to enter the system wherever possible, locating protectors within the broader network and strengthening specific two-person relationships, or dyads. The Squaw Peak debate highlights a persistent tension in modern practice: the decision to stabilize a traditional hierarchy or to leverage a more flexible family network. Regardless of the specific framework you adopt, your responsibility to the patient remains exactly the same. This map unifies the historical journey: Bowen's ancestral fault lines, Erickson's hypnotic Holons, and the resulting networks mapped out by Madanes. All of these divergent theories serve a single clinical function: the explicit duty to metabolize a family's chronic anxiety. You must intervene to break the rigid, fused participation that traps the family system. Only by disrupting these patterns can structural healing begin. Mastering the topography of these models allows you to read the hidden blockages within the system, equipping you to guide a trapped ecosystem back into healthy flow.